Welcome back, or welcome to Norn ASMR. Today, I wanted to show you guys some of the more cherished cards in my heart that I have in hard cases, those of which I have sorted into 4 categories. I have my Jurassic Park cards, my signed Lord of the Rings cards. Kind of messed that up there. My all B1 double-sided cards, or well, I have 2 cards in them. And I forget what these are called. I think they're like anime art style cards. So I will start off with the 2 newer ones that I still like them, but they're not my favorites out of all of these. Now these, I might have to change the camera angle for. I'll be right back. I kind of zoomed in. I hope that's better. So I have Indominus Rex Alpha. It's a 6/6. For these, there are quite a few cards, so I won't go into super detail about them. I have Swooping Pterodon. Oh my gosh, I totally butchered that. It's a 3/3. I have Savage Order. It's a sorcery. Permission Denied. This card I actually bought on its own because I just really wanted this card because I really like the art and that it had Samuel L. Jackson on it. And then I have Command Tower. And then these lands are actually double-sided, which I really like. So it has the pyramid on the back. So this is like the before and then the after, because the pyramid's like worn down and the dinosaurs are all around and flying. And it's just a normal command tower. There's Dino DNA. I really like the art on this card too. I have Hunting Velociraptor. It's a 3/2. Then I have Don't Move. It's another sorcery. It's destroy all tapped creatures until next turn. Whenever a creature becomes tapped, destroy it. That's messed up. Alright, so that was my Jurassic Park. These are the anime art ones, I believe. Hang on, let me take a look. Okay, yeah. These are almost all of my anime art ones. I have a couple in my binder that I just know I'm not gonna really be looking at often. So I have As Foretold Enchantment, Defense of the Heart Enchantment. There are a lot of enchantments. Karmic Justice, another enchantment. Actually, hang on. All of these are enchantments, actually. I lied. They're just all enchantments, so I'm not gonna bother. Greater Oromancy? I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that. Anyway, I thought the art art on this one was really cute with all the little animals. I have aggravated assault. I really like the art on this one too. It's polluted bonds. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player loses 2 life and I gain 2 life. I really like this card. Blood Moon, a classic. Non-basic lands or mountains. Kind of messed up, but you know. And these next 2 cards are my favorite cards that I have from here. It's Omniscience. It is a 10 drop, so it is very expensive to play. But you may cast spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Which if you get this, like if you do like a bunch of lands, and like you have, I don't know, like if you have like a Soul Ring first round and then a bunch of ramp for lands, if you get this out on the playing field early, it's kind of messed up. And then the classic Ristic Study. I just realized there's kind of a shadow. I hope that it hasn't been that way the whole time. Ristic Study is a 3 drop. It is a classic card. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, I may draw a card unless that player pays 1. So it basically makes everything 1 more expensive for your opponent, or you just get to keep drawing cards. Now these are my all will be 1 set, so it honestly might be easier if I set this down, because not only are there a lot of cards, as you can tell, there's a lot in there, but they are double-sided. I have 2 cards on either side, because if you haven't watched my other video where I go through my collection, I mention how I collect the regular art and the alternate arts. Some of these I just have the completed, some of these I have the oil slick, and some of these I have the like Phyrexian stamped ones where they have like the little Phyrexian symbol all over it. I might go through some of my favorite ones on these just because I think they're cool. So this is Vraska, Betrayal's Sting. I have a lot of planeswalkers in this section, but I really like the way that they, you know, did the art on these. The black and white is like really striking and it has a lot of detail. I have Kaido, Dancing Shadow. Another planeswalker, as you can tell. And he flips over to his completed art. I think that's what it's called. If it's not what it's called, please correct me in the comments. There are so many new names for all of these cards that it's kind of hard to keep up. And then it's this is Nissa, Ascended Animist, I believe. Yeah. So this is the Phyrexian text version of it, which I pulled myself. I actually pulled both of these, which I was really excited about. I pulled a lot of these actually, now that I'm thinking about it. The only ones that I pulled every single one of these. Actually, I went through a bit of a Phyrexia phase, so I spent a lot of money on boxes. So that's a Phyrexian text. And then the completed version. I really love Nissa. I have her in a lot of my green-white decks. She's a bit expensive, so you can either pay 3 colorless and 4 green, or 3 colorless, 2 green, and then you can use Phyrexia mana, which I believe is 2. I don't know why I went to read that. I think it's like 2 or 3 life. Let me see. I think it says on Jace. Maybe. Oops, sorry, that was kind of loud. Yeah, 2 life. So you can pay 3 colorless, 2 green, or 4 life, and 4 life, instead of the, you know, all of the 4 green. She has 7, I forget what these are called. I'm really bad at remembering names. Her +1 ability is create an XX green Phyrexian horror creature token, where X is her loyalty. Oh, it's her loyalty. Where is her loyalty? Her -1 ability is destroy target artifact or enchantment. And her -7 ability is until end of turn, creatures I control get +1/+1 for each forest I control, and they gain trample. So if you paid all 4 of these, and say it's just like a mono green deck, you'd have to pay, well, a minimum of 4, but you could pay a maximum of 7, which means you have at least +7/+7 going on each of those creatures, which is a lot. I have the Eternal Wanderer. I don't have her in a lot of decks, just because there's not a lot of decks that I have that really make sense with this. But I do love her artwork. I think, yeah, this is, let me see if I can see it on camera. This is one of those Phyrexian stamp cards, but I might have to get it out of the case. Let me see here. Can you see that? Yeah, right along where the words are. I really like these cards, but it's kind of hard to see them on camera, and when they're double sleeved and in a case, it's kind of hard to see it. Now this one is one of my babies. This is Atraxa Grand Unifier. I have an Atraxa deck, and she is my commander, and I have basically half of these planeswalkers in this stack in that deck, just because I thought it was funny. She's basically every color, well, except for red, but I'm not a huge red player anyway. She is insane. She's an insane card to play. She has a flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink, and when she enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you may put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And that includes all of the different types, so like creatures, artifacts, I think battles even. Yeah, battles. And then this is the other version I have of her. Funny story about this. Back when Atraxa cost like 80-90 bucks, I got the special like oil slick deck where it's like the black and gray shiny boxes, and I pulled 4 of her, and I traded 3 of them in just to get another box. It was just insane, and then I pulled another one of her and traded that in for store credit. So she's like my go-to. I have Chase the Perfected Mind. Again, there's that Phyrexian mana, where it's 2 colorless and 2 blue, or 2 colorless, 1 blue, and 2 life. He has 5 loyalty. His +1 ability is until next turn, up to 1 target creature gets -3/-0. His -2 ability is target player mills 3 cards. Then if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, I draw 3 cards. Otherwise, I draw a card. And then his -X ability is target player mills 3 times X cards. So what I like to do is I like to get him out pretty early, and then just rack up his loyalty counter, and then in games of like standard, it's really easy just to have someone mill their whole deck. It's a little bit harder in Commander, but you can at least get a very decent chunk of it out of the way. Just, oh, I forgot to show you guys the back part of it. This is another one of those oil stamp ones. I'm gonna have to pull him out too. Can't believe I almost didn't show this to you guys. This is one of my favorite cards. He's got the, yeah, there it is. He's got the stamps on him. I just love the art on this. Let me put him back in his case. Kaya, Intangible Slayer. Again, with her, I don't have her in a lot of decks. I've seen a lot of people play her, but I'm just not the biggest fan just because she costs so much and she has good abilities, but it's not as groundbreaking as Nissa or Jace. Like her -3 is exile target creature or enchantment. If it wasn't an aura creature token, oh, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 1/1 white spider creature with flying in addition to its other types. So it's not like a real big game changer like the other ones. This one I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to get out of the case too. So it's Tyvar, Jubilant Brawler. I have him in the Atraxa deck, but it's mainly just for laughs because I have like so many planeswalkers in there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get him out too. Because it's hard to see that detail on there inside of the case. And I like the art on this one too. I think a lot of the completed versions are really neat. Also, sorry that tapping is me tapping the cards back in. Alright, next we have Tyrannix. Oh my gosh. Tyrannix Rex. Tongue twister for some reason. It is another 7-drop. But this one I do like because it can't be countered. It's an 8/8 and it has trample, word 4, haste, and toxic 4. If you don't know what toxic is, players that are dealt combat damage by this also get 4 poison counters. So like there's like toxic 1 where you'd get 1, toxic 2 where you'd get 2, and then once you get to 10, I believe, that player just loses, no matter how much health they have. And this is the, oh my gosh, this could be so hard to see because it's so dark. It's the oil slick version of it. Let me see if I can like tilt it in a certain way. I do really like the oil slick versions, even though they're kind of hard to see on camera. I have Koth, Fire of Resistance. Again, don't really run him in a lot of decks. I just think that the 2 different versions of the card are cool. I like having a complete collection. I'm gonna butcher this. I always do. Nahiri, the Unforgiving. Again, not my favorite, but I have the oil slick version of her, which again is kind of hard to see. I'm trying to angle it a bit. You can kind of see it there. But, you know, this is like one of the only red cards that I use regularly. and I pair it with a card from the Tyranid 40k deck. So this is all will be one. Again, that oil slick version. Whenever you put one or more counters on a permanent or player, all will be one deals that much damage to a target opponent creature an opponent controls or planeswalker an opponent controls. Oh wait, to a target opponent, creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker. I kind of said that weird. But I pair this with a card from the Tyranids that whenever a red source, which this is a red source because it's a red card, so whenever a red source deals damage to a player, you add a 1/1 counter. I can't remember if it's onto that card or onto any card, but it doesn't really matter because it creates an infinite loop where you're just dealing damage and then adding a counter and dealing damage. So unless they have something that can destroy an enchantment or get rid of that, I think it's a creature. I'd have to double check, but they can get rid of one of those two. They just lose because it's just an infinite loop. I get these out of the way. And I mentioned in a previous video that I only have a few cards that exceed $100. These next 3 cards, I spent about $300 something on them. Or no, oh my gosh. It was, so these 2 were $300. This one I think on its own was like $200, so it's close to $500 for all these cards. So that's why I have them double sleeved inside and in the magnetic card case. These were signed by the actors of the characters because I wanted to make a commander deck. First, I wanted to make, the Merry and Pippin deck, and then the Samwise and Frodo deck. But the con that I went to, it was gonna have all 4 of the actors, but Elijah Wood had to call out last second, so I just ended up getting like the standalone Samwise card. So on all of these, they are for food decks. So like whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under my control, create a food. So that's the Samwise ability. So I had him. I felt bad. I was like the 100th person to ask him to write potatoes on something, but since he did it so often, he knew exactly how we wanted it to be spelled. But he was so nice. I actually was so excited to meet the actors. I was having an asthma attack because it was my first con that I had ever gone to. So I was using my inhaler, and I was just wearing normal clothes. So the actor was like, "Oh my gosh, ha ha ha, are you cosplaying my character from the Goonies?" And I was like, "No, I'm just so excited to be here. I'm having an asthma attack." But he was so nice about it. And then on Merry and Pippin, I have them saying, "What about second breakfast?" And I wouldn't count on it because, again, these are my food decks. So Pippin has partner with Merry, Warden of Isengard. I can pay 1 and tap him to create a food token, or I can tap him to sacrifice 4 food tokens, and then other creatures I control get +3/+3 and gain haste until end of turn. But I can only activate that during my turn as a sorcery. And then Merry has partner with Pippin, Warden of Isengard. Whenever 1 or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. This ability triggers only once each turn. So what I was gonna have all of the actors do was write the words on the back, so when I wasn't playing my commander, I could have them flipped over, and then when I play them, I have them flipped. But I forgot to mention that to Mary's actor, so he just wrote everything on the back since there's a lot of space, but he wrote like this little waving potato guy. I thought it was really funny. I think he did that on like all of them. But yeah, ooh, that was kind of loud. These are my cards. Let me know if there are any other cards you want to see or any other kind of video you want me to make. Just leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.